Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. Thank you for joining me today. My regular viewers, thank you so much for being here. Know that I have been on vacation in northern New Mexico, and surprisingly, I came back to Texas. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I had a great time. Nature is a wonderful, wonderful healing device, modality, medicine. And that's what I was doing. I was literally soaking up so much wonderful Mother Nature energy. And if you haven't watched my video about crossing over, I'm a medium. And so I met these Native American family, which I crossed over. That's a really cool thing that happened to me. Absolutely, probably one of the most amazing things that's happened to me in my life. Top 5 for sure, if not top 3. It's just amazing. Watch the video. I met a ghost walker. I didn't even know there was such a thing. And so now I'm a ghost walker. So I got a raise and a promotion while I was there too. So that was really cool. Listen, this video is about politics though. You guys have been so kind as to give me some questions that you want answered. I talk to my spirit guides literally while I'm doing these videos, and I give you the information from them. Now, I do want to say before I get to your questions that the last video I think I did, the last political video that I think I did, I think that was the one. Hillary Clinton came through big, telling you guys she's still in the really sort of prime energy that's happening right now. She's big. Now, I do think that you're going to hear something possibly negative about her and Bill and maybe their foundation, something to have to do with money maybe, in regards to this Epic, the hackers that hacked into the Epic website server, and now we've got, months and months worth of data to go through to figure out all these wonderful dots that we can connect to who got what politically. So I do think something is going to come out, but I just want to tell you, it doesn't matter. Okay. Whatever negative thing comes out about her, it does not matter. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't matter. Mark your calendar. 3 months from now, I think that would be around December. All I see is her face, and she's smiling like a Cheshire cat. Like you could put Garfield or some kind of cat emoji over her face. That's what she looks like. She is, she's got those cheeks, right? She's smiling like really as broadly as she can smile. So whatever those idiots throw at her, it's not going to matter. She's coming out on top. Now, I mentioned that I saw her in regards to the New York governor's race. I also hear senator again. She's just going to be a mover and a shaker. If she's not running, then you can bet that she's going to have the last word. They're telling me she's going to be victorious. She's going to have the last word about something. Okay. So whatever dirt, they're showing me the picture of Biden's son's laptop. Basically, much ado about nothing. So whatever they dig up about her, it's really nothing. But whatever she has on them or whatever comes out that puts her in this positive light really trumps anything that they have. What else did they want to talk about? I just wanted to mention that back on June 28th, I got this message about Schiavone, and you guys were so good in the comments to help me figure out who the world Schiavone was. Well, now we know that it's Schiavone. Schiavone is the guy who was texting Trump about January 6th, and he is now in a lot of hot water, and the things that he texted Trump probably are now evidence. So Schiavone, not Schiavone. And this is what happens, especially in mediumship, when we get names. It's like even the names of your spirit guides, like, it's like phonetic. Like I have to figure out what they're saying. It's not always clear like I'm speaking to you. But for some reason, I kept getting skia instead of Voni. But anyway, so that's what I'm saying. June 28th, I did a video, talked about that. It's now October 5th. For whatever reason, primarily because timing is very different on their side than on our side, right? Our side timing is so slow. On their side, it's much faster. And this means even your loved ones on the other side, their timing is so much faster than ours. But that's why a lot of times they tell me things and then it comes true 2-3 months later. I am working on them about getting the timing closer, but it also has to do with free will they're talking about. Also on July 9th video, I talked about vaccinations and I talked about how corporations were going to require vaccinations. Here we are. Corporations have required vaccinations. Also, on that same video, I talked about how you would have to have a vaccination card to enter some businesses. And of all places, the French Quarter in New Orleans, the French Quarter, the hedonistic, anything goes, do whatever you want quarter, is requiring patrons to bring a vaccination card or to get tested, have a rapid test proof before they go into the bars in the French Quarter. Can you guys believe that? Out of all places in America, the French Quarter. Rock on. I love the French Quarter. So I wanted to talk about that. The other thing I just want to say is that, on almost every video that I've done that's been political, I have talked about how my spirit guides talk about Biden, and they talk about him trying to keep the lid on the proverbial pot. So it's like the pot, if you can imagine a big pot on your stove, and the water's boiling, and the lid is rumbling and popping, and it's in danger of just coming off the pot, and everything coming out of the pot, meaning overflowing, boiling over. Well, what they've showed me is Biden keeping his hands on the pot to keep the lid down. Now, in one of the videos, I said that what was going to happen to him was that these investigative journalists had information. They have actionable evidence and information. And they were waiting for him to give him some time to fix as much of this as he could behind the scenes. But they would only give him so much time, and then something would be leaked, and that would force his hand to deal with these things. Well, here we are. The big Epic leak. Epic is that server I mentioned earlier. It's a server. It's a website server, meaning that a lot of websites like Parler, Gab, The Donald, including a whole lot of Republican and some other websites were were hosted by this Epic server. And the hackers hacked into Epic, and they've been releasing data about every 3 or 4 days to a week. I think they're on their 3rd release now. This weekend, they just released data on the Texas Republican Party. So that's going to be interesting. But here we are. My point is that these releases are now going to force Biden's hand. And indeed, I do believe that these releases are going to have something to do with what I just talked about with Hillary Clinton. I think some of these releases are going to, it's just smut. Frankly, you guys, it's just smut is what's going to be released. For instance, this senator hired these hookers. This representative paid this or got this illegal money or whatever. It's just the dirty side of politics is now going to be pretty much out in the open for us all to see. And the question is, will we do something about it? Will Biden do something about it? Will our, justice system finally hold these people accountable? And they're just now talking to me, and I need to have an astrologer on here. But they're just now talking to me about whatever it is going on in astrology. Check out Anne Marie at Angel Star Karma or Denise Siegel. There's tons of astrology alert. Check out all those astrologers. But there is something going on. They're saying about Pluto and about everything being confusing and this kind of fog that we can't see through. So that is affecting everybody. I don't want to just say that Biden isn't doing his job or whatever, but I do know that Americans are ready for justice. And this is what's happening. This is what they want me to tell you. These leaks are going to spur justice, regardless of whatever fog, Plutonian or otherwise, that we are in. It doesn't matter anymore, because it's sort of like we've reached a tipping point, and this data, this evidence is going to be so big and so astounding that it doesn't matter what kind of fog it is, we're still going to want something to happen. And Biden is going to be forced to do it. He's literally going to be forced. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't want to do it. I know Biden is a good guy. I know that he's divinely guided. But I also know that he's an institutionalist, and that is why he does certain things. For instance, not firing FBI Director Wray, because we don't fire FBI directors. That they usually have a term that exists over presidents, and that's why they do that, so that a president can't fire somebody. Well, of course, Trump fired them, but now Biden is trying to follow the rules, even though Trump didn't follow the rules and gave Biden these people that may or may not be able to be trusted. But now Biden is trying to go back like everything was normal, but it wasn't normal. So he's being forced, okay? He's being forced. His hand is being forced. What else do they want me to tell you about that? Let's just leave it at that. Let me just tell you that by December 15th through 18th, there's also something happening on the 14th. Let's just say the whole 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of December are going to be like the 4th of July. Fireworks. You're going to see, they just told me the cat is out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag in December. It, of course, is going to be building between now through November. You're gonna start getting little, what are they calling it? They're saying glimpses, tips. You're going to get a glimpse of something, or you're going to hear a tip about something, leads. What do you call that when you're tempted or something like that? You're going to tantalizing information is going to start coming out. But man, in December, stuff's going to happen. Bad stuff is going to happen to bad people. It's going to be good for us. Okay, I'm going to try to get to your questions now. Have no idea how long I've been yammering. I've been yammering for 13 minutes. Okay, sorry about that. All right, so your questions, again, thank you for giving them to me. I really appreciate it. All right, let me see if I can open this window. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Sherry Berry wants to say, she wants to talk about Governor Abbott, who is the Texas governor, who is just top runner for complete jerk. Yeah, she's saying primaries are coming up this spring and that she's getting nervous. And she's mentioned that I saw a Hispanic male possibly winning. So here's what's happening. When I go into this energy, guys, why do they show me these pictures? Okay, they're showing me a picture because they want me to explain how crazy it's going to be before it happens. It's like, look, remember when Biden was running and we were all biting our nails and, freaking out, and at the very end he won, right? That's what they want to say. This governorship, all kinds of stuff is going to go on before the actual election day, okay? So you're going to have highs, lows, you're going to be freaking out, you're going to be having hope. It's just going to be a roller coaster of emotions. But in the end, this is pretty far out for me to be, saying this, because there's a lot of free will and there's a lot of cheating. I mean, I guess I'll say allegedly, and I guess I'll say This is for entertainment purposes only, but there's a lot of cheating that goes on. So let me ask again about that. First of all, okay, they want to say that these leaks from Epic, which is the server I talked about, right? One of the leaks was the Texas Republican Party. It just came out this weekend. So journalists and researchers, investigative journalists haven't had enough time to really go through and see what they need to see in that. But I'm going to tell you that it's going to shake up the Texas Republican Party. And I want to tell you that also that they're saying that of course, ethics don't matter anymore. There was a time in our political arena where if someone was found out to be on the take or on the dole or having gotten bribes or having had an affair, they would step down. But we know that the Republicans don't step down anymore. They don't care. Texas's AG, Attorney General, the top attorney in the whole state of Texas, who's elected, has 5 federal indictments against him and have had them for years, and he's running again. Like, federal indictments don't matter, right? So when I say this about the governor and about Texas Republicans, you need to understand that you're going to go through a roller coaster of emotions. But in the end, I'm going to tell you, and I think Jen of Jen's World, and we do the Thursday Night Live, I think that she had the same thing independently from me. Texas is going blue, you guys. It's going blue. We do have this problem with see, people always talk about Linda G not being able to say things on camera, but when we're connected to spirit, our brain is over here. It's not accessible. All those filing cabinets are no longer in the same building. So the guy who's here, who's the big celebrity, who is he's going to run for governor. McConaughey. Thank you. Good Lord. Matthew McConaughey. He is going to run for governor. And I just talked to somebody yesterday. He said, oh, he's a Democrat. I'm like, he is not a Democrat. I thought he was a Democrat. He's not a Democrat. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing. He's being bought and paid for. He's not. He's totally... Jesus Christ. They just told me. Sorry. Oh my God. They just told me he wants to run for president. So this is what he's doing. If you could be governor of Texas... and this, obviously we have precedent for this, then you can be president. He wants to be president. Holy crap, that would not be good. Okay, he's not Trump. He's not Bush, but he's not good. He's not good. There's no substance there. It's all about power and ego for him. And he's up for the highest bidder. He'll work for the highest bidder. You got the most money. You got the most power. I'm with you. That's Matthew McConaughey. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. That's their personal opinion, not my personal opinion. Because I was one of those people that at first thought that he was centrist, that he could bring Texas together by walking down the middle of the road, and that he was a celebrity, and then people from both sides would vote for him. And that still might happen, you guys, but meaning it might happen that he does walk down the middle of the road, quote unquote, and he does bring people from both sides together. But we need a Hispanic male to show up, because that's what I see. I see this man. I keep seeing him. Maybe it's 2024. What's happening in 2024? That doesn't make any sense. 2022 would be the governor race. 2024 wouldn't be the governor race. Well, okay, he could potentially show up in 2024 and then become a known, entity, a known person, and run for the next governorship Okay, I also need to talk about this because you guys, Beto O'Rourke here in Texas is a legend. He's a Democratic legend. He's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal person. He's a phenomenal candidate. He should have won. He did win, but there were shenanigans with the vote. And he is saying that he's going to run for governor, which everybody wants him to. I mean, every Democrat wants Beto to run for governor. I wish I could tell you something good. I wish I could. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope they're wrong about this. But I keep hearing Beto as a senator. I keep hearing it. I keep hearing it. I keep hearing it. I don't know why. That's just what they keep telling me. So I get Beto as being a senator for Texas. Let me just go back. I'm sorry. I'm going back. When I get quiet, I'm going back to Governor Abbott. I do not see him winning again. He's going down. Something is happening to him. I don't know if it's health or if it's an accident or if it's character assassination or if it's something happens to Abbott. And our lieutenant governor is even worse than Abbott. So we don't want anything to happen to Abbott before he gets voted out. But Texas is going blue, you guys. Next question. Yes, Linda Aragon, I hope I pronounced your name right, says, thank you. I am glad to be back, sort of, in Texas. Win. Linda, will the orange one be off of the street? I'm going to tell y'all something. Because I saw, maybe I'll put the video up here of McConnell. McConnell and Trump have something in common, and that is I don't think they're human. I think whatever humanity was in their body has died off, and it's been replaced by some other energy. Because they're defying the law of physics, the law of life. I mean, they don't look alive. They do not look well enough to be alive. And what I hear, I mean, who knows, guys? I know this is wacky, but what I've always known and what I hear right now is that when they're not needed anymore, they'll go on. If you understand what I'm saying to you, I've said this for a year, more than a year. It's like they deflate. That's what they show me. Like it's air, like they've been aired up, and when they're not needed anymore, they sort of deflate. So the question is when. The question is when. Come on, guys. Let's be honest here. Something's going to happen in January to the former guy. Sick. I'm grabbing my stomach. I'm really sick. And I feel like it's spreading. They're making me nauseous. When I'm get nauseous, I'm nauseous. I just I'm really nauseous. And it's eating. It sounds like the big C. It sounds like the big C. It's something in my gut that's eating. And then spreading. But he's come back from so many things. I saw him having a stroke. A lot of other people haven't seen him having a stroke. Majority of us have seen him already crossing over by now. This is what I'm telling you. Him and McConnell have some kind of bigger thing keeping them alive. But he's not needed anymore. So his time is numbered. He's going to be, I don't see him going to, and Linda G said the same thing. We don't see him going to prison. I see him maybe being in a hospital, right? Locked away to a degree. He's got problems in his gut. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna, hopefully by January, February, he's not coming back. He's not ever gonna be president again. We've all told you guys this. That is not the person you need to worry about. He's not the one we need to worry about. Okay, let's see. But thank you for the question. I'm wondering the same thing. I want justice personally. Okay. Yes. Bugaboo Feeders says, any news on the ACA, healthcare in general, with COVID, insurance companies are probably not happy at all. Just wondering. Okay, that's a really good question, because that's a great question. Because my guides have been saying this sort of like in the background, like when I'm doing my daily things, they're sort of running in the background sometimes, and I don't always put my full attention to what they're saying because I'm busy doing 18 loads of laundry after vacation or whatever. But my guides have been talking about this, that COVID has changed so many things, you guys. We don't even know yet because we're still in the middle of it. But that whole year that we all sat at home and twiddled our thumbs and decided that none of us like our jobs or like our homes or maybe even like our spouses, that's set in motion so many changes that are now happening in this year and will be happening next year. But one of the things that COVID did, is it's going to change healthcare, period. It's going to usher in Medicare for all, Medicaid for all. That's what it's going to do. It's going to rush that, in the fact that the Democrats, I've said it, Jen and I have said it, other people have said it, we're going to pick up seats in the House. Linda G has said it. We're going to pick up seats in the House. We're going to pick up seats in the Senate. We are. The Democrats are going to do this. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. We are going to go to the precipice of the edge of the cliff and hang over before we pull back and get stuff together. So we are going to go through some things. But in the end, we are going to pick up seats. Those seats that control of Congress, and partnered with the fact that these insurance companies don't want nothing to do with COVID anymore, right? The insurance companies are learning what they're telling me right now. You know how we think and we know that they cherry pick, insurance companies cherry pick the people they want to cover by charging the people they don't want to cover an exorbitant amount of money. And they used to cherry pick people they wanted to cover by not covering you if you had a pre-existing condition, but Obama made that, impossible for them. So they had to cover people with pre-existing conditions. So many things that the ACA, that Obamacare fixed in our healthcare world, our healthcare society. But what they're telling me right now is the insurance companies have decided this is what they want. And I think it works. I mean, it does work. Okay, so what they're saying is, with anything, you guys, there's the best case scenario and the worst case scenario, right? There's always the best case and the worst case. Best case scenario is that the insurers decide that they're only going to work with private companies or private paid people, meaning people that have a lot of money. So if you have money, you can get this, what are they calling it when you, supplemental. You can get this supplemental insurance. Like, I don't know if this is currently done in Canada or other countries that have, healthcare included for their citizens. But what they're showing me is best case scenario is that we have a healthcare situation where we offer care along the lines of Canada. And then if you have something that you need done, like a knee replacement, and you don't want to wait 6 months to get your knee replacement, then you can use your supplemental insurance, pay more money, and get your knee replacement done in a month, right? So So the best case scenario is people with money could get better health care. Yes, they can. Look, this is always going to be the case. I mean, unfortunately, we're just nowhere near that kind of higher vibration where everybody gets what they need to get. But the good news is that across the board, Americans are going to get health care, and it's going to be included. It's not going to cost you much of anything. They're even saying supplemental. So they're even saying there's a baseline health care that costs nothing, like Medicare or Medicaid. And then there's going to be a level up, a governmental level up, where you would pay $25 a month and maybe you get more. And so there's going to be governmental levels, and then there's going to be private levels. Okay. So yes, all this is going to happen. This is all going to happen in, she's asking 2022, 2023, or I don't know if this is a man, bugaboo feeders, by 2023, 2024, I feel like it's going to be voted on in 2023 and implemented in 2024. Yeah, but it's coming. It's coming. That's the good news. The good news is it's coming. Sorry. Yeah, Linda Walker just asked a question. This epic server hack, some of the names for it is the Pandora papers for Pandora's box, which is when you open Pandora's box, you don't know what's going to come out. And then the other version is the Panama papers. So these are all stemming from that epic hack. And she says the Panama papers are a larger and more current version of the Panama papers. The Pandora papers are. And it proves the rich hide their money offshore to avoid taxes. Would the U.S. ever put a stop to it with legislation or fines and penalties? Newsflash, the thing that just came out is, of all places, South Dakota. South Dakota. Kristi Noem, or whatever her crazy name is. That crazy woman, the governor. South Dakota has become a huge tax haven. You can start a trust in South Dakota, and one of the things I heard is, let's say that I was married to somebody and we got divorced and I wanted to protect my money. I would just open a trust in South Dakota, and the person that I divorced from wouldn't be able to get that money. So it's that protected. The divorcee can't even get the money they're supposed to get because you hid your money in South Dakota. And go look at the numbers. It's like in 2011, trust in that state were, X amount, and now they're like 5 times. Like, I mean, it's millions, billions and millions, and maybe even billions of dollars that is now invested in South Dakota for this trust. So it's happening in the United States, and I was just hearing on NPR. Europeans are like, stop telling us we're having, that we're hiding taxes from American taxpayers or the American tax collector. You're doing it yourself. Go fix your own problems before you come talk about us. So we have some big freaking problems. Again, back to what I was saying with Biden has to do something because of these leaks now showing us all what's really going on. Now people are going to start looking to our Congress and our, judicial system, and even the IRS, and certainly, Janet Yellen and Biden to do something about this, to stop this from happening. And again, what they're telling me, and I know they told me this before, I know I did this in a video before, the rich people will go to Biden and say, let's make a deal. This is what they told me before. They told me before that the rich people would say, we'll allow you to have nationalized health care if you'll go easy on us with these taxes or this other stuff. So the health care is actually going to be a pawn in this game. But overall, yes, this stuff is going to get fixed in the next, well, unfortunately, they just said 10 years. Within 10 years, which seems like forever, but when you're talking about fixing things on this scale, it's going to take a while. And we're going to need some stability in the administrations, right? We're going to need 2 terms of Democratic presidency. And we're going to need, hopefully, 2 terms of Congress, controlling Congress. And we're going to need to put some people in jail, frankly. But yes, it's coming. Linda Walker just wrote in and said, it's obvious that Manchin and Sinema have been bought with Republican, Russian, corporate, take your pick money. Will this be proven and exposed? Yes, Linda, it has already been proven and exposed. Manchin and Sinema both, as far just in this last week, have been pointed out that they both have money invested in some of the votes that they've been doing. Again, I see Sinema going down. I see her being, well, you know what? My guides were saying something about a recall, but apparently they can't recall Sinema, but they can censure her. So they are getting ready to censure her and basically block her from voting with the Democrats. It doesn't really help us because we're 50-50 in the House, and we're not 50-50 in the House, we're 50-50 in the Senate, and our we don't have enough margins. We need every single Democrat to vote. But they are going to put pressure on her. She is she's just like Manchin, right? I agree to vote for this and then I don't vote for this. I agree to vote for this and then I don't vote for this. But I see Sinema going. I don't see Manchin going. I see Manchin staying in West Virginia. They have been found out. The game is up, but it doesn't matter. The problem is it doesn't matter because now lawmakers don't feel like they have to step down when they've done something wrong, unfortunately. So, hold on. Okay. She said something that tripped the guides to talk about something. She mentioned bought with Russian corporate money. They want to talk about that for just a minute. They're saying that because of the Panama Papers, the Pandora Papers, the Epic hackers exposed, okay, hold on. They're showing me pictures again. Dominoes. They're showing me dominoes, but the dominoes look like they're carved in ivory. Isn't that weird? They look like ivory figures. They're not really dominoes, but they were ivory figures, very intricately carved. And they're now going tick, 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 right? So they're all falling. So I don't think it has as much to do with Manchin. I'll cut to the chase and just say senators and representatives are going down. They're going down. They're going to be forced to resign because they won't resign, even though they should. They're going to be forced to resign. I don't know if it's Sinema or Manchin, but they are saying that they will resign. 12, maybe? 8 to 12. That's a lot. 8 to 12. A few of those might be state senators or representatives, but there's going to be a lot of U.S. senators, and they're going to go down. Okay, let's see. Tina Pruitt says, oh, I missed you too. Question, Bannon has been talking about 20,000 shock troops already lined up to be moved into the government when Republicans take over. Does Bannon and his people actually have 20,000 plus Nazis lined up to plop into government? First of all, Tina, thank you for the question. Second of all, Bannon is crazy. He's really crazy. I saw a little video of him, and my guides keep saying that there's subliminal messaging going on. I don't know how they said it so much yesterday. They've been saying it for months. It's like this weird trigger thing that Bannon does when he talks. He's just looking around, and then sometimes he looks right at the camera and he says something. That's the trigger. Do they have 20,000 shock troops? Yes, they have 20,000 shock troops. Yes, they do. Easily. I don't see the Republicans ever taking over, period. They are, the Republican Party is going to be lucky if they survive. It's imploding as we speak. What is reconciliation? Not reconciliation as far as like the budget, but reconciliation is it history? Was there some kind of, or maybe what's the Reformation? I don't know. See, it's like that guy that I got his name wrong, Schiavone, right? It was Scavone. So when I hear words, sometimes it's slightly off. This is what I've seen for a year, literally before January 6th. These people, these un-American traitor people, are going to cause problems locally. They are the American... I'm trying to decide if I can say this on YouTube or not. They are the American version of the people that are in Afghanistan. And they're going to cause problems in our local areas, especially the Pacific Northwest. But as soon as Biden, they're just showing me, as soon as Biden gets over this big mountain that he's climbing, it's like when Obama finally got the ACA, Obamacare passed. I know Republicans that became Democrats because they could get insurance. So if Biden can just get over this, Mount Everest that he's climbing up, when he gets down to the other side, a lot of these not so fringy people are going to be okay. They're going to come back into the fold. There's always going to be this subset of traitors, and Bannon needs to go. Bannon is very dangerous. He's very dangerous. Right. So Mary has the same question. Mary Mahdi says, thank you. I did have an invigorating vacation. And she says, does Bannon gain from his machinations? Who does he work for? Bannon, they have this, what they're showing me, feudal, the feudal, back in the kings. They want to be kings. They want servants. They want a class. They want a class system, right? Doesn't that make so much sense? They want the king or the dictator, and then they want the ruling class, and they want everybody else to be workers or, they have a name for it that Heather Cox Richardson, if you guys don't watch Heather Cox Richardson, she's a Boston history professor, and she's amazing. And every day she sends out a letter called Letter to Americans, or letters from an American, letters from an American. And she talks about the previous day's political news and puts history context in it. But she has a name. They're called mudsills or something. But that's what back in the Civil War days they called workers. Basically, was like a post that you put in your house. It's nothing more than that. Basically, just somebody who does work. That's what Steve Bannon wants. He wants a subservient or servant class, and then the ruling class, and then the ruler. That's how he sees the best thing. He wants a caste system. Thank you, Tess. I am back. Thank you, Tess Mox. I appreciate it. Thank you, Anita. I'm back. And Karen, MK Karen has a question. Yeah, good question, Karen. She's asking about Mark Zuckerberg and how interesting that Facebook was down for like 5 hours yesterday, right? Now, we could also ask the question, why was Facebook down? Well, it's Mercury retrograde, and that video stopped at that point. So I'm going to pick it up and try to finish it really quickly. And the question from Karen was that, it just dawns on me that I don't want that to happen again. The question was, why was Facebook down yesterday? And I'm going to tell you, I got something very interesting from my guides, and that was that Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, is not smart enough. There's a combination of things. First of all, he's very egotistical. He thinks he knows everything. He's very controlling, so he likes to control everything. Whereas, yes, he is being investigated, and it makes sense in some way that he maybe took Facebook down to delete some things or cover up some things, but that's not what happened according to my guides. According to my guides, he lost millions and millions and millions of dollars yesterday in ad revenue from Facebook being down. He wouldn't give up that kind of money, number one. Number two, he doesn't think he's ever going to be held accountable, which he isn't, but he doesn't have that much fear. Because Facebook controls everything so tightly, according to my understanding of what happened, when the servers went offline, it's like they said the house was still there, but the GPS didn't know how to get to the house anymore. So that's the way the computer geeks put it to me. But also because Facebook is so controlling and Zuckerberg is so controlling, they couldn't remote in to the servers because you had to remote into the servers through Facebook. And Facebook was no longer there, according to the servers. So they couldn't do that. When they actually showed up with the techs showed up at the door where the servers were with their little badges and tried to use the keyless entry, it wouldn't let them in because it went through Facebook and Facebook wasn't there. So they actually had to drive to this other place where they literally had a physical key and open the door and get inside. Now, here's what they're telling me is what happened. Who knows if this will ever be public? But as I was discussing before, that the Pandora papers and the Panama papers and the Epic, all of these, and Anonymous, and all these hacks have exhumed. They want to use the word exhumed. That's hilarious. Like it's a geological or an archaeological site. Uncovered all of this data, bad things, evidence of wrongdoing. Let's put it that way. Some bad actors that knew, okay, we are going to be outed in these various, ways with the Pandora and then the Panama, blah, blah, blah. What their guides are telling me is then they started thinking, we have to figure out where else we may be compromised. What other places have our compromised information or compromised information about us? Well, guess where that is? Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Specifically, WhatsApp and Facebook. These compromised things would be Facebook post, Facebook ads. They're telling me ads that were run. Facebook before January 6th was really very involved in some of these alt-right groups, is what they're saying. And even after January 6th, what Facebook is getting in trouble for is that they had two sets of rules. One set for me and you, and another set for these other groups. And these other groups were allowed to post and do things that other groups weren't allowed to do. So what I'm hearing as to why Facebook went down was these people, these bad actors, had an inside person or paid an inside person in Facebook to basically take it offline for enough hours so that they could access the data and take out what they wanted to take out. Okay, so what they're showing me is Mark Zuckerberg does not know about this. He's outside of this circle. This was a completely different group of people that made this happen. They made it happen to cover up things that would incriminate them and or add more incriminating evidence to things that they had already done. So they basically wanted to go around and clean up whatever else might be out there that could endanger them or make them, make them more criminally accountable. So I'm going to try to do this one more time. I'm going to answer just a few more questions because there was something the guides said that was not video recorded. Mercury retrograde about Liz Cheney, and I think it's really important for me to tell you about. So let me just scroll down here and look at these questions really quick. Some of the things I don't know what I don't know what I've answered and what I didn't answer. So I want to just talk about these, I want to talk about Liz Cheney because it was really, really, really it surprised me. It made sense to me. A lot of things that's been going on. I've been talking about Liz Cheney being the person who is going to get the mantle of the Republican Party. Okay, I've been talking about that. The guides have been talking about that for a long time. Somebody put in here about the, is it Pluto and Neptune? Something that's making us be very foggy and very, it's like we're all in this fog. We can't see anything. Okay. So, and that astrological thing is ongoing. Hopefully I didn't already talk about this. But I wanted to talk about Liz Cheney because what they show me is all of these leaks, all of these leaks with all of this data is what they show me is like cold water going on the faces of Americans. And for some period of time, we're able to wake up as if out of a slumber. We wake up and we're like, oh, wow, wait, what's going on? And we can see clearly for this period of time. And they showed me this picture of like this fog right in front of us. When the cold water goes on our face, which is represented by the leaks and the facts and the information that comes out, that is so much that you just can't deny it. That's the thing. It's undeniable. When that happens, the cold water comes on, the fog sort of slips away from us. And when it does, there's Liz Cheney. She's standing there before those people as sort of, I want to say the Messiah. Now, I'm reluctant to say that for a lot of reasons because Liz Cheney's far from a Messiah. Pretty much any human should be far from a Messiah, right? And especially that human. But this is what they're showing me is whether or not why they're using the term Messiah, I don't know. Other than these Republicans are so black and white, right? They're so like worshiping of people. They worship Trump. Maybe they'll begin to worship, Liz Cheney in that same way. That seems Messiah-like. I don't know. But that's something that's coming. She has positioned herself to take over the mantle of the Republican Party. That's what she wants to do. That is something that's going to happen. So let me just pause this for a minute. Okay, I'm not sure that made sense, but I went back and looked at the questions. And so that question, hopefully that made sense. I'm going to go to Anikila World. She says, how is this guy Miller still in the government, collecting a paycheck and then also being a Trump advisor? and this is something that the guides, this is Biden. This is just who Biden is. He's an institutionalist. So for instance, we always do things a certain way, right? So it's the same thing with FBI Director Wray. You don't fire him, because if you fire him, you're just a dictator, right? If our presidents could fire the FBI person every single time they come in, there would be no continuity, right? We try to pretend that we're a civilized country by allowing, for instance, like Dr. Fauci, he's spanned how many different presidents, 5 or whatever different presidents, because we have continuity throughout our leadership. Presidents just don't come in and fire people, because that would make us more like a dictator. Now, in this situation, Trump did fire most everybody and implanted and instituted his own people. Now, Biden is trying to bring it back to the way it was. So just because Trump instituted somebody or put somebody in an office, Biden's not inclined to fire them, because that would make him just like Trump, right? So instead, Biden is holding himself to this higher standard of, I need to basically do a review of this person, right? I need to make sure that this person really isn't right for this job. So anyway, this is just what they're telling me. Biden is so by the rules. But listen, what we learned from Trump was that these weren't rules. We all thought they were rules, but they weren't rules. They were practices. It was institution. It was how we've always done it. But that doesn't make it rules. So Trump got in and said, I don't care if we've always done it this way. I'm going to fire that person. Now here we are back with Biden, and Biden is trying to reinstitute this continuity. So that's how we are doing this. Now, Miller is dangerous. Bannon is dangerous. They're dangerous together, and Bannon might as well still be in there because Miller's in there. One of the Flynn brothers. The Flynn brother is actually a general over the Eastern Pacific. He's really, really high up there. This is a guy that was on the phone during January 6th. Why is he still why is he still a general? Why is he still, I don't know. He was up for general. I don't know if he got the general stripes. I think he did. But why is he still there? These are the things that drive me crazy about Biden. This clinging to tradition, when it's been proven that you either need to make it a rule, required, or you need to just do your own thing, because no one else is going to cling to those traditions. And if we do, it puts us at a disadvantage. So, what's going to happen with Miller? He's going to get fired. They're saying he's going to get let go, fired. He's going to be implicated in all of these leaks and whatnot. God, this is the part about Biden that does make me mad. He's going to have like a report this thick on somebody to throw them out, instead of just saying, you've been implicated, bye-bye. Instead is, you've been implicated, here's the evidence. Implicated, here's the evidence. We've got 27 things on you, you got to go. It's like, I don't want to wait for 27 things. MS Pioneer Girl said, and thank you so much for commenting and the questions. She wants to know about the Pandora papers, which we've already talked about. She wants to know about Eastman, who is Trump's lawyer, who laid out the steps of the coup. Isn't this traitorous, which it is, treasonous, or something, and will there be charges of some sort? Eastman is gone. He's going to lose his, he's going to be disbarred. He's going to be a nobody. They just said he might be charged. He might be charged. The problem with this stuff is, guys, even though the energy suggests he may be charged, he may plea out and decide to flip, so I can't tell you for sure he's going to be charged. But he is going to be disbarred, and he is going to suffer. Maybe not in jail, but he's going to suffer. Also, she says, how is it that Trump has surrounded himself with morally bankrupt, greedy, power-hungry grifters and criminals, and people still support him? This is where she talks about I know that Neptune in Pisces, illusion, fanaticism, brain fog, but come on, enough. I know I agree with you. Enough. When is it going to be enough for the majority of the GOP to turn around? And this is what I just talked about with Liz Cheney. We're under this fog, this astrological fog of this Neptune, Pluto, Pisces, illusion fog. That's what I just talked about with the details coming out with the Pandora papers and the all these things, the Panama papers, the anonymous leaks, the epic leaks. It's like these facts are cold water, and we are gonna briefly, and that might be enough to save the Commonwealth. I mean, just having a brief amount of sanity and awakeness and awareness may be enough to shift things so that some of these bad actors are pushed out of the way. And that might be all we get. That it sounds like to me what they're saying is you're going to have this opening and you need to make the best of it. Now, of course, when the opening happens, we also see Liz Cheney there to receive all of these people and say, I'm the sane Republican. I'm the normal Republican. She's even rewritten her history and gone back and said, oh, I'm not against gay marriage. You know, my sister is a wonderful person. I take it back. I didn't know what I was doing. She's already shifting towards the center right Republican. She's not trustworthy. She's a formidable foe, an enemy to the Democrats, but she may save the Republican Party. And MS Pioneer Girl, I don't know when. I mean, right? I don't think this was on. I think this was part that didn't get recorded. Oh, Mercury retrograde. How I love you. Not really. December. They were telling me December, the first 2 weeks of December are going to be fireworks like the 4th of July fireworks. You're going to hear a lot of things come out. Things are going to become known. We are going to hold a lot of people accountable. People are going to have to resign. And I'm talking about House of Representatives. I'm talking about senators. I'm also talking about state legislatures. Don't look, this isn't going to affect Trump per se. Trump is nobody to worry about. He's not going to run again. He's sick. I don't know if this was on the video, but he's sick. I don't expect him to run anymore. His power is waning. Let's see. Daphne Berry says, thank you. Welcome back. I appreciate that. She wants to know if the debt ceiling is going to be raised before we default on our debts and run out of money. And she wants to know, could this move by Mitch McConnell finally be the last, I don't know if I can read this whole thing, his last, let's see if I can pull this window out, straw to convince Manchin and Sinema to modify the filibuster. Now, months ago, the guides told me Manchin was going to surprise me and everybody else in regards to the filibuster. Now, he has surprised me already in regards to the filibuster. But the question is the debt ceiling. Right. What I had gotten earlier was the debt ceiling that they would let, the energy suggest. Right. Okay. Let me put it to you this way. McConnell just wants this bill to get as minimized as possible. That's all he wants. He wants this bill to be like this. Just squash it. You know, right now it's nice and big. Squash it. So that's what his game is. He knows it. He's going to have to pass it. He doesn't have a choice. The dang thing is going through. Like I said earlier, that was not recorded. Wall Street really runs this country, right? The money runs this country. If Wall Street wants something to happen, they'll make a phone call to McConnell, and McConnell will pretty much vote the way they want him to vote. So what they were saying was that Wall Street can't abide by another shutdown. We already can't get chips for our cars and some of our electronics because of the whole debacle with China and Trump. Inflation. I did a video months ago and told you guys inflation was going to be high and the prices of everything was going to go up. Here we are. The prices of everything keeps going up, up, up. Wall Street has they have no stomach for this. Okay. So yes, I think we're eventually going to get all of this done, but definitely some brinksmanship is coming. McConnell's going to try to run the clock down as much as he can. He's going to try to get us to pressure to push this bill as flat as possible. And of course, Manchin is bought off, and so is Sinema, and they want the bill to be as flat as possible too. And there's also other Democrats that aren't Henry Cuellar. There's a lot of Democrats that are not exactly helping this situation. So, we have the progressive against the conservatives. So a lot of moving parts here. And Nancy Pelosi has done a really good job of making sure to get all of those moving parts together. She's gotten everybody on the same page. And she'll get them together. She will get them together. It's just that the bill's going to be smaller than anybody wants it to be. Okay, next, M. Simpson wants to know if Lee Merritt will be elected the Attorney General in Texas. And I got to tell you guys, I actually know someone personally who's running for the Attorney General in Texas. His name is Joe Jaworski. He is the grandson, I believe, of the great Leon Jaworski of Watergate fame. But I'm going to read on Lee Merritt. I don't see Lee Merritt winning the Attorney General. I don't see it. I don't even know if I can tell you if Joe Jaworski's going to win because it's a little too close to me and I can't get my ego out of the way. All I can say is I don't see Lee Merritt winning right now. Things could change. We all have free will and there's quite a bit of time between now and then. But at this moment, I don't see him winning. Rebecca Davis says, can my guides or all of our guides please comment on what kind of fallout will come from the Pandora papers? We've talked about that. I've talked about all of that, so hopefully that all makes sense to you guys. There's going to be a lot of fallout. A lot of people are going to go down. They should go down more spectacularly than they are going to go down. So what I see is them just sort of fading away and retiring or becoming nobodies. Right. Oh, let me answer this question. Okay. This is Ellen, I think. Ellen D wants to know about the Virginia governor election. Okay. Right now, I feel like Terry McAuliffe, who's a Democrat, is going to win. I feel like she's going to win. And I feel like you guys are going to oh, right. They were telling me earlier. Right. So I see Terry McAuliffe winning, but unfortunately, I don't see you guys having statewide I don't see you guys having as many winners as far as your state ledge goes. I don't think you're going to have. I think you're going to have winners, blue. I think it's going to be blue, but I'm not sure if it's going to go as blue as you want it to go. But that's all good, I think. So I think that's really good. Let's see if there's any other questions. I think that might be it. Yeah. I think that's it, guys. Yeah, I think that will do it. So, listen, thanks everybody for joining me. I'm sorry this video was so long. Hopefully I've answered some questions and given you some food for thought. And hopefully what I want to do is help you understand that, forewarned is forearmed. That's sort of my motto. Forewarned is forearmed. You have been warned. We're going to go through a roller coaster of emotions and events, some really good, some not so good, but in the end, everything is going to work out. In the end, it's all going to work out. Maybe we don't get all of our wish list, but we're going to get a lot of it. We're going to get some really good things done, some really good things passed through Congress, really much needed things passed through Congress. They're telling me just don't focus on justice so much, right? Instead of looking back, they're showing me that's backwards, like looking behind you. To want someone to get justice is like we're taking on the role of karma, and that's not our role. So what we need to do for ourselves and our mental health is to not worry about if they're ever going to get justice. Put them out of your mind. Let karma, the universe, God, whatever, take care of them. Worry about you. Think about you. Keep your energy high. Remember, you're a magnet and you're attracting to you what you think about, right? Your thoughts are magnetic. So think about that. What do you want your thoughts to attract to you? So instead of worrying about them, let's think about how we can make the best of our time, how we can make the best of this day, this moment where we have all of our power. Thank you so much for joining me. Much love to all of you guys. Please consider liking and subscribing. Heck, check your subscription because ever so often YouTube tosses people out for no reason. Thanks again for joining me. We will see you all soon. Take care. For entertainment purposes only.